In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I use n8n's merge and set nodes to build smart automated workflows powered by AI and ChatGPT. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to combine multiple data streams, clean up your fields, and prepare your data for automation, all without writing a single line of code. My name is Laban, and over the past few months, I have helped over 2,000 individuals and businesses use AI tools like n8n, ChatGPT, and Make to automate their daily tasks, boost productivity, and build income generating systems. So if you are into AI, automation, and agent building, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's dive right in. So this is how the workflow looks like. When you click execute, as you can see, the workflow is running and it's completing as workflow executed successfully. So as you can see, once we trigger this workflow through this click, we are asking it to fetch data from this Google Sheet marked as demo data 1, and also from this other sheet marked as demo data 2. And you realize that the way n8n executes its workflows is that it always executes from the top to bottom. So first of all, it executes the first one on top, and then once it's done, it comes to the one on the bottom. So let's execute once more before I explain further, so that you can watch how the execution takes place. So as you can see, it's executing the first one. Once that is done, then it comes to the second one. So as you on this execution, you realize that on the first execution, there are 10 items. As you can see up there, there are 10 items that are passed onto this edit field. And also, after executing the second demo data to Google Sheet, you realize that it's also 10 items that are being passed to the merge node. Eventually, it's combined. The function of this merge node actually is to combine the data. It's called enrichment. You're trying to enrich the workflow so that at the end of the day, the output would be combined so that you can feed it to the next workflow. So as you can see, we have 10 items here, and we also have 10 items here, and eventually the final output is 20 items. So basically what has happened here is that we've taken 10 items from one Google Sheet and 10 items from another Google Sheet and merged them to have one combined output of 20 items. So this is what we are going to build from scratch, and without wasting much time, let's begin by building it. So first of all, for you to be able to execute this workflow, you need to have two demo data in Google Sheets. As you can see right here, I have this demo 1 data and I have demo 2 data. And when I open it, you realize that it has some data inside that has ID, name, email, country, sign up date, and these are the information. When you go back to data 1, demo data 1, you realize that it has ID, full name, email, country, and these are the information. So I want to bring to your attention the difference between the two datas is that in data 2, for example, you realize here we are calling it this column of the name, we're just calling it name. And in data 1, you realize that we are calling it full name. The reason we are doing this is because when we do the demo or when we begin building the workflow, at the point of merging, you will realize that it is always good to harmonize your data so that the output would be in a manner that would befit you to maybe send it to the next workflow. So without wasting much time, let's go to the workflow, and as the first step, we are going to get this data from the Google Sheet. So when you click this step, it's going to look for Google Sheet and Google Sheets. And the action that we are going to look for in this Google Sheet is actually getting rows in a sheet. So when you click that way, this is the interface that you get, and it's telling you to choose the sheet. But you realize that the reason why it's saying Ecuador sheet is because maybe, it's not actually maybe, it's because I had already set a credential. But for your case, you will be required to set a new credential. And this is your first time. I'm going to also create a new credential just in case you're new and you don't know how to do it. So you hit on this create new credential, and then you're taken to this interface. First of all, as a tradition, I would want us to rename it so that we don't forget, and or we don't have a situation whereby we're mixing one key with another. So this one we can call it n8n nodes, n8n nodes test, like that, so that we don't confuse. And in this case, there are two ways to sign in to this Google, to this to set up the credential rather. And if you are new and you don't know what to do, I normally encourage my viewers to go to the documentation. It's in the documentation that you're able to follow step by step. As you can see, it's saying create a Google Cloud Console project, enable APIs, configure your OAuth screen, create your Google OAuth credential, and finish your n8n. So this is, if I'm to take this route, it is a full video of its own. And after this, I'm going to prepare that video. So I encourage you to ensure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that when I release that video, you should be able to get it. So basically, we're going to use this O2, which is the recommended one. And for you to use this screen, you need to just click on this sign in with Google. Once you do that, it opens and then it asks you to choose which kind of email you're going to use. We're going to use this email. And because I had set up the Cloud Console as was advised by this documentation, I'm going to choose the account that I've chosen and then continue. So once I hit continue, it will tell me that the connection is successful. You'll only get connection successful on your end if you follow this procedure. If you've created a Google Cloud Console product, enable APIs, configure OAuth consent screen, and like I've told you, ensure that you subscribe so that you get the next video talking about this. So once we've connected, and it's saved, you should ensure that you get this green output. It's always a good sign. So you exit. Now we have this n8n nodes test as the credential. So the action we're going to do is we are looking for sheets within a document and we are getting the rows. So there are various ways whereby you can access these sheets. You can access it via list, by URL, or by ID. And let me show you quickly what we mean by this. Of course, from list, if you go to your sheets, you realize that we have this one. So this is a list of sheets that we have. So if you choose to adopt just choosing the document by sheet, if you click here, it will list all the documents. As you can see, we have demo 2, demo 1, n8n sheet, famous, brands reimagine, and graph. This is the same information that you're seeing here. It's listed demo 1, demo 2, n8n sheet, famous, graph, reimagine, and graph. So that is if you choose to use list. Alternatively, you can choose to go by ID. If you go by ID, you need to be able to understand how to extract the ID from a sheet. For example, if you double click this sheet, normally the ID is this information that is beginning after D, where there is this 1BK, all the way to before edit. This is the ID. So you normally copy that and then you go back to your workflow and then you enter that ID. When you paste the ID like that, so that ID should be able to fetch that sheet. And then from the sheet now, since it's been narrowed down by this ID, automatically it will give you the sheet as sheet 1. The challenge we're having here is because we've not named the sheet. It's just automatic. Normally for default purposes, if you don't name your sheet, Google Sheets will just name it as sheet 1, either sheet 2, 3, or 4, depending. For this case, I want us to rename, so you have to right click and then rename it. Let's call it n8n. Let's just call it n8n like that. So when we go back to this workflow, you realize that if you choose sheet 1, let's just refresh so that we get it correctly. Just refresh, no problem. don't worry, we are going to begin afresh, no worries. So that it's good we're getting this problem so that you understand. So like I said, the first action you do is to get rows in a sheet, and then we are going to use these credentials that we have created. So sheet within a document, get rows. We are going to use the ID as I had shown you. So we'll copy the ID from here up to where edit begins. Then we go back to our workflow. We paste the ID like that. Sorry, a minute. We are going to just a minute. Let's just do the expression, then paste the ID. Once we are done, we close it. And then once we've pasted the ID, we need to come down here and then choose. Remember that the last time we were checking it was saying sheet 1, but because we renamed it to n8n, now we have it as n8n. So when you choose like that, it should be able to fetch that sheet. So that's by ID. If you're going to use it, if you're going to adopt the maybe getting document by URL, it means you're going to copy the whole of this data. You just copy the whole of this URL like this. And then you come back to the workflow. And instead of saying pasting the ID like this, you just paste the URL like that. And once you do that, also if you come to choose from the list, you realize you still get the same n8n sheet that you had listed. So having understood that, guys, I would want us to, because we are getting data from two sheets so that we can merge them, we are going to execute this step. And we get that information. So the next step we are going to do is to get data from the other sheet. So we are going to also begin another workflow. Get sheets, that's Google Sheets. And also we are going to get rows in a sheet. This time I want us to do the list. So we do the list and we are going to get it from demo 2. And then from the list, we're not going to change anything. We're just going to use sheet 1. Once we are done with that, we need to execute. And we get the information from demo 2. So basically now we have two information, and I want us to maybe connect this so that once this is triggered, the workflow will go to, and first of all, let's rename this. I want us to rename this and call this demo 1, demo data 1, sorry, to avoid confusion. And we name this as demo data 2. We name this as demo data 2. So once we have this, I don't know why this is saying 100 items, but we are going to reload so that we can see. So if you click execute workflow, it will go into the two nodes. As you can see, it's getting 10 items and this is getting 10 items. And if you come here and count, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you are to open, this is demo data 1, as you can see. And if you look at demo data 2, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Basically, we are getting 10 items from demo data 1 and 10 items from demo data 2. So what we need to do is to introduce another node because we want to merge these items. So if you introduce a merge node, so you write merge and it gives you a merge node. So the action that you can do when merging, we have append, combine, SQL query, and choose branch. For this case, because we want to merge the two, we are going to use append, and the number of inputs are 2 because we are inputting from one here and the other here. So as you can see already, this workflow is connected, or we need to connect this other one to here so that you see we are getting 10 items from the demo data 1 and 10 items from demo data 2. And then we are merging them. So expect to see an output of 20 items here. So let's execute and watch. So like I told you, it executes the first one on the top path, and then the second one, and then combines both of them, and the output, as you can see, is 20 items. So if you click here, you'll realize that we are running 2 of 10 items. And then let's look at it in a schema. This is schema table. Just a minute. So if you are to look at the second part of it, 1 of 10, 2 of 10, to make it 20, you realize that the data is merged. But the challenge is, if you look at 1 of 10, one of 2 of 10 items, you realize that we are talking about full name here. And if you go to 2 of 10, you realize that it's just name here. So the challenge, when you're going to maybe execute further to another node, there'll be some conflicts. So to harmonize that, you introduce a set field node. So we are going to look, we now decide on which convention we are going to adopt. Are we going to use just name, or rather are we going to choose maybe, just a minute, are we going to use full name, or are we going to stick with name? So for this case, let's just adopt name. So we look on which workflow, on which side of node that has full name. We realize that, let's look at what is coming in. Just a minute. What is coming in here is full name, and what is coming in from this bottom side is just name. So which means we need to modify this part. So we introduce a set field node, and then we are going to map all this information, but ensuring that we change this to name instead of full name. So we are going to manually set this data, and we ensure that where there is full name, we change it to just name. So we are going to add it manually, and we're going to start one by one. We'll start with row number. So we'll have row number, and then we drag the row number, and it's not a string, it's a number. We add another field, so the ID. So we'll drag the name ID, we call it ID. We'll add another field. Now instead of full name, we're going to rename it as name. And then we drag full name. So for ID, let's just call it a number because it's not a string. Then we're going to another field for email. So we're going to call it email. And then we are going to drag email. Get another field. We say country. Then we drag the country. Add another field. Sign update. We drag the sign update. We get another field. Say subscription. And then we pull in the subscription. We add another field. We say age. Then we pull in the age. Of course, age is not a string, it's a number. We write order ID. Then we pull in the order ID. Because it's a mixture of string and numbers, we're going to leave it a string. Add another field, product name. Then we pull in the product name. So we come to price. So we name it as price. And then we pull in the price. So you can see you're going to call it a number, or either way we can leave it as a string, no problem with that. And then status, we need to add another field, we're going to call it status, and then we pull in the status, we drag the status, and then order date as a final field, and then we pull in the order date. So once that is done, if you execute, you see now the output that you are getting comes with name, and it no longer comes with full name. So right now, if we go back, the data that is coming from this part, from this edit fields, will be 10 items, but in a format that is now harmonized with these other one demo data do. So if we execute this workflow once more and then it completes, we have 20 items, and then when we look at them, we realize that if you can see this is 2 out of 10 items. 2 of 10 items, you realize that it's name, and even if you have to look at 1 of 10 items, it's also name. The output now, the data with the 20 items, is now in a very harmonized manner, and now we can be able to do anything with it. So in this case, we'd want us to still also use the set field. I want to show you how you can maybe extract something like a domain from the email, because you realize that if you go back, you realize on these emails, you see the emails are sarah.mitchell@example.com. And normally the domains are whatever that normally comes after the @ symbol. For this case, for example, example.com. I want to show how you can extract that using the set field. So in this edit fields, we'd want to say what are we interested here? We're interested in to call it domain. And how are we going to get the domain? The domain is found in the email. So we are going to drag in the email, and then we now invoke some of the JavaScript functions, the dot notation. So if you click dot, you'll realize that there's an array of functions that you can adopt. For this case, we are choosing extract domain. As you can see, it's already extracted example.com. So if we execute this step, you realize that we are getting all the domains. We have the example.com, example.co.ke.it.s.com.ca, and so forth. And if you look back at the emails that we had, you realize that we had .co.it.in.ever, and so on and so forth. And just to mention, there are a lot of functions. If you click just dot, you are exposed to a lot of functions, and that's a video for future that I'm going to prepare, and that's why I still encourage you to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell, so that once we release any video, you should be able to get it. And with that said and done, we've learned how to use the edit fields and the merge node in n8n. So just to be sure, let's execute this field once more and look at it in action. It's saying problem in node edit fields 1. So let's go and see where the problem is. The reason why there's a problem is because we introduced this dot notation and we never invoked any of the functions. So we're going to remove that dot, and you see it's green. That's okay. I want us to go back and execute the workflow so that we can ensure that there's no error. So execute the workflow, and voila, everything is okay, and eventually you get your domains. So that's it, guys. If you find this video very informative and it's something that you like, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so that whenever we release any video, you should be able to get it. Thank you, and see you in the next